And the pertinent question that needs to be asked, one that is personal, is, have you truly met yourself? How much do you know of yourself? How many times have you engaged yourself in a meeting? Hi friends, my name is God's Gift Ejike, where I'm your host on Strategic Living Nuggets. Thank you so much for joining me on this podcast. I recently released a podcast celebrating my dear country, Nigeria, at 63. It was supposed to be a one-off nugget, but as usual, I was wrong, especially when I share some of these divisive nuggets. I thought it'd be one of those one-off nuggets that wouldn't raise questions, but I was wrong with my thoughts. As it were, it surprisingly came with many responses with one particular sentence that kept reoccurring in that podcast. It's not about where you are, but who you are. It is a response to those backlash that I'm on this podcast. Firstly, let me start by saying that I understand the place of location, systems, institutions, and policies when it comes to the wealth of an individual and a nation. Systems, institutions, and polities are the bedrock on which sustainable developments are built in a country. However, an individual who is ignorant of these establishments can never take advantage of them, even when they are available. There are many policies out there that aren't useful to many of us because we are not aware of them. And secondly, without personal development, no individual can hit the height that will guarantee him or her that freedom that any one of us so desires. This was the core of my thoughts in that podcast. These were hidden in my thoughts as it had to do with the outcome of our lives, hinging primarily on who we are instead of where we are. Now, I like to break these thoughts of mine down so that it can be understood. While growing up many years ago, I had a particular statement that was attributed to a very known pastor. He would usually say that a lizard in Nigeria would remain a lizard in America. I heard this, but it didn't really make sense to me till much later in life, when I came in contact with the subject of personal development. Now, it is at the altar of personal development that the real us emerges. The truth remains that so many of us are yet to come in contact with our real selves. This is the sad reality. In the course of our lives here on earth, we have come across many individuals who we are proud of meeting and knowing. So many of us revel in the fact when we think of the fact that we have met celebrities, men and women of worth in our societies. But unfortunately, in all this, there remains a meeting that needs to take place before any of these other meetings will become useful to us in life. And the pertinent question that needs to be asked, one that is personal, is, have you truly met yourself? How much do you know of yourself? How many times have you engaged yourself in a meeting? It's very possible that some of us could be hearing of these questions for the first time in our lives. Meeting myself? Yes, meeting yourself. This is the primary meeting that needs to take place for us to know ourselves and become the real us. When we fail to have this meeting, it means we are yet to know who we really are and what we are made of. The truth is that this is not a one-off meeting, but a meeting that ought to take place regularly for certain things to happen in our lives. Recently, I had one of those meetings with myself. Guess what happened? After that meeting, I took a decision that I will never make excuses again in my life. Never will I be found making excuses. I realized that I have missed out on certain things in life because I was making excuses for them. Things that I should have taken care of, I didn't. Not that I couldn't have tried to do them, but I made excuses. And sadly within me, I knew I was denying myself of so many possibilities. This is how it is with so many of us. The decision to meet myself bettered a change within me. And with time, the results of this meeting will be so obvious, not just to me, but to everyone who come around me. They will see this obvious change. Meeting myself was one way through which I changed who I am, which was what that podcast on Celebrating Nigeria dwelt upon. I'm sure you now understand what I meant by it's not about where you are, but about who you are. I'm sure you now understand better. Please schedule that meeting with yourself and see what and who you would become with time. Do that meeting now.